Today we are at Gurgaon. This is Bharat Tennis Academy. So we see a lot of people, we see a lot of youngsters, men and women, essentially sports women and sportsmen. So they are undergoing training. We have the gentleman from Australia, as you read here behind me. It's Australian Nation Academy of Tennis Coaches. So they have come in, they've flown in from Australia, Melbourne, and they are now in the process of selection, I would say, of coaches from all across India. So it's over to you. You can introduce yourself and tell what's the program about.
Great. So my name's Lynton Joseph. I'm from Melbourne, Australia, originally from India, and we're here delivering coach training, coach education for an advanced certification, and tomorrow we commence a elite professional certification, and the outcome is qualifications, but also learnings and also opportunities to come and work abroad, working in Australia. We've currently placed close to 90 coaches in Australia since COVID, and another maybe 5 to 10 out of the batch of just under 60 will get an opportunity to come again and work in Australia. After this course, we're off to Dubai to deliver our first course there, and the same thing will happen. So that we're opening up doors. Our motto is teach locally, coach globally. And we're providing real opportunities for local Indian coaches to experience what it's like to work overseas, teaching the Australian way.
What's the selection process? Means what's the eligibility? Why? Suppose age-wise, do you have anything like 18 plus or any 14 plus student a boy can join?
Okay, so the 14 plus is more along the training on courts where they're developing their skills to get to a level, an elite level than where they're at. In terms of the coaching, what we're doing here this weekend is primarily about providing the opportunity, and probably the more experienced coaches, the coaches whose English is predominant, whose ability to execute skill, provide coach education, training, error detection and correction, and able to basically develop their students, because when they come to Australia, it's very challenging. It's extremely challenging because it's a different environment. There's the highs of like a honeymoon, very excited to come, then there's the lows of I'm missing family, I'm missing friends. This is quite costly experience, but they persevere, get through those hurdles, then all of a sudden the doors open. I myself have migrated from India, and I've been there ever since. So I'm very lucky in that respect, yeah.
Like when we talk about international tennis, so it's very different from what we, generally play in Indian clubs. When we have some sports clubs, so tennis, the floor, whatever we have is totally different. The tournaments are different. And I think that the Indian word is Josh. Somewhere, means when we see international players, because they're brought up in that atmosphere, and their food plans, their diet and everything is different, So does that anyway does it make anybody less qualified?
If they're not at that level?
Yes.
Well, look, we talk about high performance. It's a word that's thrown around a lot. But to us, high performance means delivering a high performance lesson to your customer. So if you've got a 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old, you still want to give them the best high performance lesson for that particular scenario. So really, we're looking for quality all round, not so much the best player, the most talented, the someone who takes into that level. That's not the criteria. The criteria is someone who can engage with the students, someone who's happy to analyze, come up with errors, and someone who's going to help them develop their skills by repetition and repetition and repetition. And look, there's some really great tennis players out here this weekend.
We have people from all across India and overseas.
We've actually got a few from overseas that have surprisingly come. We run courses in Singapore, Malaysia.
So what talent did you find?
Well, we're still assessing, right. And it's a process. So there'll be some video submissions that are required, and that'll be another 2 to 3 week process. Once they send in their video submissions, we'll analyze, observe, provide feedback. Feedback's very thorough, and it's deliberate and it's direct, and that provides the nucleus for them to move forward. So they may not all get an opportunity to go to Australia, but that doesn't mean they failed. It means that they're still ahead of where they were from when they commenced the course. But we want to absolutely represent our brand, represent them, their family, their friends, and the AATC by providing the quality to be given that opportunity.
And when you come to Asian countries, so do you think that India has the potential to be in the right place at the right time? The Indian
Of course it does. Of course it does. The only thing missing I see from India at the moment is
What do we lack? What are our major challenges?
you're lacking a proper academy here, a live-in academy that provides every service possible, from physio to nutrition to training to study to all the comforts of home. Instead of sending our players in India, and I say our because I really feel I'm part of the Indian process, is we send our Indian coaches overseas to Europe, to USA, to Australia. But why can't we develop them here in our backyard? We've been coming here now since 2013.
Yes.
And nothing's really changed in the landscape. It's really hard for us to break in with the main bodies that need change. But change is really important. But also working together collectively is really important. We always want to work together with other governing bodies here, and that would be the start of a great relationship and seeing success. I mean, the stats came out a few weeks ago where tennis isn't one of the top watched sports. Cricket obviously. And then you've got kabaddi and hockey and badminton and archery, but tennis wasn't really quite there, which
In
was a bit
India,
of
people
surprise.
have been watching the Wimbledon,
They're watching, of course,
and
but
then Steffi Graf was there. We had Leander Pace. So many people.
we have, but currently now,
Yes.
currently now.
So
on
we
the
have
world
to
stage.
change our whole mindset.
Mindset's changed though. In the past, it's all about study hard, get a good job, become a doctor, become a lawyer. Now sport's a real pathway. Sport's a real pathway where if they're not going to make it as an elite athlete, they got a chance to be an administrator, an umpire, a sports scientist, a nutritionist, a coach. There's so many different directions you can go through tennis.
Wonderful.
Through tennis.
So my last question is about BTA, Bharat Tennis Academy. So because these youngsters, they've ventured into, it's something unknown territory for them. So how do you feel that how's BTA competing in the world of international sports?
Well, Bharat's gracious enough to invite us back for a second time, and we love being here. We see what he does. He's a forward thinker. He's thinking outside the square. He's opened up pickleball now. He's got 24-hour pickleball. He's got youngsters here who've got so much respect. Even his own son is a real young man growing up with manners, respect, appreciation, smiles, and he's on the right track. He's on the right track with what he's doing, and we're really proud that he's a part of us.
Wonderful. So thank you, and
thank
I
you.
hope you have a good stay in India.
It's always a great stay in India.
And a lot of cuisine. What do you eat in India?
I
Masalas.
like my chicken sagwala. My sagwala.
You like that?
Love my sagwala.
Wonderful.
Yeah, the spinach and
We're happy to host you in India. Thank you.
Namaste.
This is Sanjay Agrawal signing off.
Thank you very much.
And your tennis coaches? Wonderful.
This is what we do. This is our job.
Yes.
All great person. He's the one who is encouraging us.
If I'm saying to bring my racket, you are saying no.
With the ball. Just ask to play.
Hello, sir. We ask Kuswaha.
Yes, sir.
If you want, what?